Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. And in today's video, I want to talk about Jim Henson's Dinosaurs. This series is a 90s show, and you've probably guessed, it's full of puppets. And I want to tell you guys something now. Jim Henson is also the creator of The Muppets, if you guys didn't know. Now, the reason why I made this video is because I want to talk to you guys about two of the best episodes in Jim Henson's Dinosaurs. Okay. They're not the best. In fact, you could make the argument that there are better episodes than these two episodes. And the two episodes I'm talking about is Erling Day and The Owling. Erling Day is episode 3 of season 1, and The Owling is episode 5 of season 1. Now, some of you are probably thinking, okay, so what's so good about this series called Jim Henson's Dinosaurs? And what's so special about these two episodes? Well, Jim Henson's Dinosaurs is like the live-action Flintstones movies, except the dinosaurs are like in a sitcom of sorts, and I'll just say it, this series has a lot of satire in it. Now, when you're a kid, clever writing and satire and things only adults would know will get what the episode is talking about. Now, even though this series does look like it's for kids, this series is very, very clever. And again, the satire is fan-freaking-tastic. It's about a dinosaur called Earl, and he has 3 kids, a baby, a teenage son, and a teenage daughter. He has a wife and a mother-in-law, and it's basically them living their lives, getting into hijinks, and it's one of those shows that has the problem of the week sort of thing going on. And again, this series is mostly about satire. And again, the two episodes that I'm going to be talking about is Erling Day and The Owling. And both of these episodes are Robbie episodes. And who is Robbie? Well, Robbie is the rockin' 90s teenager that always questions traditions, things that don't make any sense. Robbie is sort of a rebel. Not necessarily, okay, let's go and fight the man. Robbie seems to be more ahead of his time. He's wise despite his age. Instead of following everybody else, Robbie asks why they do these things. Like, why do they need this tradition? Why do they need to follow these rules? Where did this come from? Where did that come from? That sort of thing. Now, even though there are episodes I think Robbie does a good job, again, I think the best episodes with Robbie in them is Erling Day and The Owling. Arguably, they are the best episodes. So, let's talk about these episodes individually. Let's start off with episode 3 of season 1, Erling Day. In this episode, Earl, who is Robbie's father, is getting ready to toss his mother-in-law off a cliff, and Robbie doesn't like this because obviously he loves his grandmother, and he keeps asking questions like, okay, has anybody ever came out of the goo? Is there life after death? Why do we have to push grandma into the goo? It seems a bit old-fashioned. Now, at the beginning of the episode, we are introduced by a group of dinosaurs, and we see an old dinosaur, and he's saying stuff like, I'm really old, I'm attracting predators, I'm making us late for things, I'm struggling to keep up with the herd. So, to solve this problem, he announces that every dinosaur that reaches a certain age shall be hurled off a cliff. And this was like about 1 million years ago, when this tradition of throwing off dinosaurs off of cliffs and into the goo. So it's been around for a very, very long time. And then we cut back to modern day. Well, modern day 1 million years later, where we cut back to Earl and his family. And he's excited because he gets to push his mother-in-law off a cliff. Again, Robbie doesn't want to see his grandmother be thrown off a cliff, and he starts talking to his mother. And Robbie says something along the lines of, dinosaurs live in houses, dinosaurs have shopping malls, we're not in packs anymore. Dinosaurs in the modern day, in the show, are more advanced. They're basically a modern day of modern humans. And when Robbie tells his mother all this, that, oh, we don't need to do this anymore because we've got this now, and we live in houses, etc., etc. And Robbie's mom thinks about this. And Robbie does have a point. There's no need to throw old dinosaurs off a cliff anymore because, again, everything's safe now. More or less. They live in houses, they've got shopping malls. I mean, think about it. Back like about 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago, humans did certain things back then, but we don't do now. We've went from using horses to cars. We went from using swords to using guns. Okay, those are bad examples, but there are things that we did a very, very long time ago, but we don't do them anymore because they're either bad for our health, or we found a better way, or found a better substitute, or we learn from our mistakes. So basically, in the end of the episode, they decide not to throw Ethel off a cliff, and Robbie makes this big speech saying that, oh, he won't throw his father off a cliff, much to the shock of Earl, saying, why not? And Robbie says, because you're my dad, and only because you're old doesn't mean you're not my father, or something along those lines. So yeah, this episode, Erling Day, points out how things can be outdated and we don't need to use them anymore, or we don't need to do it anymore, like we do in real life. Like how people used to believe in witches, and they would burn a person at the stake if they accused that person of being a witch. But in a civilized society that we have today, we don't do that anymore. Well, maybe some parts of the planet does that, but in civilized societies, we don't do that now. I can't think of anything else at the top of my head that people used to do years ago, but we don't do it now. But like I said, there are things that people used to do back then, but we don't do them anymore because we found a different way, or we found out that that thing isn't good for us. The more we advance, the more things change, and the more we don't need the old ways of thinking, and things we don't need to do anymore. And this is what this episode teaches us, that we should question the old traditions and ask why we need them and why do we do them, and if they're good for us or not. And I'll tell you guys something, there are some traditions that are better off being stopped. So yeah, that's basically Robbie in a nutshell. He questions old traditions, he's ahead of his time, and he's kinda sorta sticking it to the man. Now, the next episode is sort of the opposite of Erling Day, and this episode is called The Owling. And in this episode, Robbie is told that when he turns 15, he's going to start howling on this big massive mountain, and he asks his dad, okay, why do I need to do that for? And the dad says, I don't know, you just have to do it. Dinosaurs have been doing this for millions of years. And Robbie says, so when I turn 15 and I owl, I'm a man? And Robbie also says that he doesn't get it and he doesn't understand. And then Earl brings out this book, which is kind of like their Bible. And Earl reads some of the book saying, we owl to keep the dark spirits that'll turn dinosaur against dinosaur at bay, or something like that. And Robbie pushes back, saying, you believe that? And he goes on, I don't get it. And also, throughout the episode, we've been told that males get aggressive every year before owling. Anyways, sometime later, Robbie goes to his inauguration or something like that, and is with the other grown-ups, and Robbie says that he doesn't believe in the owling. And Robbie says something along the lines of, oh, this isn't the Stone Age anymore, why don't we try not howling? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? And the other adults, in response to Robbie's question, says, earthquakes, floods, fires, etc. And everybody is exaggerating that all this bad stuff will happen if they don't owl. And Robbie says, well, why don't we try and not owl and see what happens? And so, he doesn't owl, and then the moon disappears, which it didn't because it's just behind some clouds, and then 24 hours later, everything's the same, the world didn't end, there was no catastrophic situations, nothing bad happened when Robbie refused to owl. And so, nobody owls anymore, not Robbie or the adults. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking that Robbie was right about this situation like he was in the episode Erling Day, where we don't need to do this anymore. The world didn't end, so there's no need to owl anymore. But let's put that in the back pocket for a bit, and I'll bring it up in a second. And then later on, it was shown on the news that males have been attacking each other, either verbally or physically, and nobody understands why. And then Roy and Earl, who are co-workers and best friends, they start fighting. And then later on, Robbie picks up the book that his father was reading him earlier, and Robbie reads the part where it says, only by howling do we defeat the dark spirit that'll turn dinosaur against dinosaur. And then it clicks with Robbie, and he finally understands what's going on and what the book meant and why the males are fighting each other. Robbie gets it. Even though this book was written about a million years ago, and everybody has been exaggerating, saying, oh, if they don't owl, catastrophic stuff will happen, like earthquakes, floods, and so on. And obviously everybody was exaggerating. That isn't what the book was trying to say. All male dinosaurs need to owl in order to let out all the aggression that they have inside of them every year. And we can assume that it doesn't have anything to do with spirits or any magic or anything like that. Because again, this book was made about a million years ago. And just like in real life, people made the Bible or whatever oldie book you're into, those books also have rules in them for people to follow. And I should stop here because I don't want to bring religion anymore into this. But yeah, years ago, people didn't understand the world around them. Some people believed that the earth was flat, and thunder and lightning was brought about because there was gods, like Thor, throwing his lightning, or Zeus's lightning, or thunder, or whatever. People back then, hundreds of thousands of years ago, didn't understand the world around them. So people just made up stuff saying, oh, it's the gods, or oh, the earth is flat, and so on and so on. And the world that these dinosaurs live in is relatively new, and getting into new things, and trying new things. Hell, when Earl read that dinosaur Bible thing saying the dark spirit within dinosaurs will turn dinosaur against dinosaur. And when Robbie reads this, he might have been thinking that it might have something to do with the biology of dinosaurs. Maybe. Or maybe Robbie might actually think it's a spiritual thing. I mean, who knows? But let me ask you guys this. When Earl and Robbie read the part where the dark spirit within all dinosaurs will turn dinosaur against dinosaur, what goes through your mind? You're probably thinking that these dinosaurs don't understand, and maybe it's just something that they need to do because it's part of their biology. They need to owl in order to get all this aggression out of them. And when Robbie tells his dad and Roy to owl, and they did owl, all the hostility, all that anger, and all that pent-up rage was gone. Now Robbie admits that he was wrong. In this episode, he was wrong and he understood why they needed to owl. It's mandatory in order for dinosaurs to carry on living in a civilized society so they won't turn on each other. And on Erling Day, Robbie makes good points. Back in the olden days, dinosaurs kept holding up the pack and attracting predators, so they had no choice but to kill off the old dinosaurs so the younger dinosaurs can live. And this happened like a million years ago. But now in the modern day, they don't need to do that anymore because they've got shopping malls, they've got schools, dinosaurs live in houses now. Dinosaurs are mostly safe in the modern day within the show. So the old traditions of throwing the old dinosaurs into the pit isn't needed anymore because they are living in the modern era. Well, their modern era, where everything is a lot more safer. So they don't need to kill off the old dinosaurs. These two episodes are two sides of the same coin. In one episode, sometimes old traditions and rules aren't needed anymore. But in the other episode, there is a reason why rules were made and are still needed. So what can we take away from these two episodes? Well, that's simple. Always ask questions. Always ask why rules are made. Why did our ancestors make those rules? It's kind of like the Bible in some ways. And I know what some of you are going to say. You're going to say, oh, come on, Geek Freak, don't bring in religion. No, I'm not bringing in religion. All I'm saying is we should ask questions as to why we have these traditions. We should ask why we have all these rules and why are they needed and who made them and why are these rules essential. I mean, let me ask you guys something. Have you guys ever got frustrated at your teachers or at your family because they kept on shoving all these rules down your throat? Well, have you guys ever considered why your parents or your teachers or society makes these rules? Either in the law or in holy books or in schools or at home. And it's because it's to continue a functioning society. And also, I just want to apologise because I brought religion into this. But I was only saying that, just for an example, rules were made to control chaos. But sometimes, some old traditions and old ways of thinking should either be forgotten or stopped. Now, I'm not going to say what you guys should believe or what you should question. You guys have to figure that out for yourselves. Ask yourselves, why do we have these rules? And what would happen if we got rid of these rules? And you wait to see what happens when you get rid of these rules. Rules are there to keep everybody safe. But at the same time, we need to question our old traditions and see if they're ethical or not. And that's all I was trying to bring up. And that, my friend, is why Jim Henson's Dinosaurs, Hurling Day and The Howling are two of the best episodes that this series has given us. Now, I will be doing more episodes on this series. Maybe a few top 10s, maybe another analysis, who knows. Jim Henson's Dinosaurs is a fantastic series and I highly recommend you guys go and watch it. It's full of satire and it is very enjoyable to watch. Well, that's it for me, guys. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Will you go and check out Jim Henson's Dinosaurs? Do you question old traditions? Do you ever wonder why we have rules in the first place? Please let me know in the comment sections below and let's get a discussion going. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put the bell on, share this video, and leave a comment in the comment sections below. And as for my social medias, I'm literally freaking everywhere! I'm on most video platforms, social medias, forums, and support sites. It's best to pause the video and see where I am. Literally all of this is down in the description box below. So if you want to go and check those out, please do. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.